Hi! In today's video, I want to talk about personal branding. This was a focus point in my group over the last week, and I want to share with you some insights on how you can start to build your personal brand as a beginner. The first thing you want to do is that you want to specify what your colors are, what your logos is, and what elements you want to use time and time again. The goal is to build a visual consistent messaging that people will recognize in the future and that they will start to associate with you. For that purpose, I created a free branding manual template that you can actually access when you click the link below and that you can just fill out. The way it looks is, so it's built on Canva, and the way it looks is this, and it also comes with some inspiration templates for you. So what do you want to define when you build your personal brand? The first thing is that you probably want to have your own logo. You can try to make this yourself. Canva already also has some great templates on that. And you can also use platforms like Upwork or Fiverr and have a super nice logo created for really just a little amount of money. And Fiverr, you actually can have them for as little as $5, and the results that they deliver are partially really amazing. So maybe if you're not a graphic designer or if that's too complicated for you, that's something that you want to do. The next thing that you can do is define your color palette. And this is actually one of the first things you want to do, because this is a beginner mistake that I see people make fairly often, is that they start and then they put in some colors that they like and they use this blue here and that blue there, and all together at the end is not consistent. So that's what you want to do, is you want to define the color codes that you use, and you always want to use them in no matter what piece of content or what piece of visual messaging that leaves your company goes out there. And there are actually some cool places where you can find inspiration for that, because I know also if you're a beginner with designing or with branding, then you don't have quite an understanding of what colors work together with each other. So you can go to places like Pinterest and literally just Google and type in things like color palette homepage, and then you will have a lot of suggestions coming up. And I recommend that you just pick something you like and then you stick with that. You can also just copy the code of the color and place it into Canva, and Canva will actually suggest you colors that go well with it. So here in the free templates that you can access when click the link below, you have, for example, this female workout color palette. You also have something in more bluish colors, the more professional business coach template, and then also the playful feminine design, then something that is also very professional and maybe goes into the direction of teaching something. This is very bright, very joyful, very colorful. And here you can see this is my own branding for my own company. So I always work with these blues and with this yellow as a highlighting color. And I also have these elements. Another thing that you want to define after the colors is that you always want to use consistent fonts. So again, in every visual piece you create, you want to use the same fonts. You want to use the same fonts on your homepage and for other documents that you create. And that is something you can define here. If you don't know what fonts go well together, because this is also something that needs a bit of experience to figure out, then you can just Google popular font pairings. And a great tip for you, Google has a lot of free fonts that are available, and just type into Google font pairings, maybe with the year 2020, because also fonts, they have kind of trends on how they are used together, and I think there you will be able to find amazing pairings and that you can apply immediately for your templates. Then you also want to define what your visual language is. So what type of images will you be using? What's your tonality? Are you, for example, like here, are you going with the brand colors and keep it super vibrant? Or are you using more like mood images around your brand? Or like in my case, I'm a Facebook ads agency owner, so we always work with screenshots a lot to just show people our results. And this is a consistent visual component that I'm using again, so that's why it's part of my branding manual. So think about the images that you want to use on a regular basis and how they can go well together. You can use image platforms that provide you a large amount of completely free high quality images like Pexels or Unsplash, and there you can kind of build out your collections of images that you want to use time and time again in your business. And this is something that's actually really fun to do. You just sit down for some hours, you make a collection, and then you have a go-to resource. So this personal brand template is designed to just give you a go-to resource that every time you create something, you can just pull this up and you can dip into the colors with the color picker, and that way you can make sure that you're consistent. The same applies for creating your collection of images that you want to use again and again. This is also something you just want to have on hand, so that you make sure that when you produce things, you always go back to that. And I know that you sometimes don't want to take the time to do that, and that is exactly why I made those templates. Because if you have not worked this out, the next time you go ahead and you release a piece of information, you send it out to a client, or you have something on whichever social media platform you're active, you will not do that, and that will result in you not being consistent. So take this as a little task, as a little homework. Do that first, and you will see over time your whole messaging and everything will be so much more consistent, and that's when people will start to associate certain things with you, and that's when you will start building your brand. So another thing I want to talk about is where should you apply those things first. So once you work this out, then you want to go to your social media profiles and you want to update things. I want to do it now on the example of Facebook, but you can also see, for example, on my YouTube channel that I applied the branding. So here I'm now made a little infographic for you around what you can optimize on your Facebook profile. So you want to change your cover image that it matches your new brand guidelines. And here, not only think in colors and images and fonts, also think in messaging. So the number one formula for your messaging and for being consistent is I help, then name your target audience with what problem do you solve for them, what desired outcome you create for them by using this specific method. So for example, in my case it is, I help e-commerce businesses, coaches and course creators to grow with funnels and Facebook ads. This is what I do, this is my messaging, this is my why, and I put it on everything and I use every chance to communicate this. Also, for example, on my cover image, you can see that I try to convey this message. Who do I help with what and to achieve what? The another thing is for your profile image, you want to use a picture of yourself, and you also want to use a picture that transports who you are. So I'm trying to use my profile also in a professional and business context, but I still want people to get an idea of who I am and what I like. That's why I have this picture with my dog there. And actually I use the picture with my dog also to run ads for our agency, and I found that those convert a lot better, and I think it is because people they understand like who you are as a human, and it just resonates more with them. Also, I did a trick that I revealed in another video of mine, which is unrelated targeting. And I'm not only targeting business owners that might need help with their services, but also that love dogs. And that gives me kind of very low CPMs, and this pretty amazing trick. So back to the track, which is you also want to update your bio, which should contain the information I just told you. Use the formula, and again, who you are, who you help, achieving what with what technique. Then update your details, where you worked with, your education and your professional background, and make sure to also link your homepage and link your groups and other social media profiles. Then you want to use the section for the featured image, and what you can do is actually you just only use one image and you can put a call to action in there. And the cool thing is that here, as well as on the cover image, you can edit the description and you can add a call to action in there, and you can add links to your website, to your lead magnet funnel, to your other social media profiles. So use that to organically over time drive traffic towards that. And how can you actually get that organic traffic going? This is in the fifth area, and this is where you make post and content that delivers value to people and that is around your topic, around your target audience, and will help them. So consistently deliver value in your postings, just like you also would do on your Instagram postings, on your YouTube, on your Twitter. But by consistently delivering value to people, they will also start to recognize you as that authority in your niche, and that will also contribute to your personal brand. Also here, you want to be consistent with your visual branding and always use the same colors, the same fonts, the same elements, and people will start to associate that with you and recognize that. Another quick tip is that you want to secure your domain, so your personal name as a domain, and you want to get your own email address, your own company email address. I very often come across business owners that still use Gmail addresses, and it just does not look quite professional. So when we talk about personal branding, also make sure that you secure your own domain name and that you get a custom email address. And when you send out the email addresses, make sure you use a signature, also again consistent with the branding that you worked out, and that includes also all the links to your social media, to your groups, and to your lead magnet and sales pages, just to give yourself the shot of driving more organic traffic towards that. One thing that people often overlook is when you create, for example, a lead magnet to grow your list, which is something I, for example, teach in my group, then you also want to make sure that your email autoresponder and the email templates that you send out are also consistent with your branding, because that is often very, roughly designed, and it just does not make quite a good impression, and it hinders you from getting perceived as this professional brand and building your personal branding. Okay, so these are all the little spots where you want to tweak things, and I really suggest that you start with this manual, that you fill it out, and that you define your colors and your image language, and also take the time to sit down and get clear about this one message. And I think that's really something you need to understand and take your time is, who are you? So what are your strengths? What are you really good at? And what are you probably not good at? Who do you want to work with? So who is your ideal client? Who do you want to serve? And what should be the conditions of working together? How do you want that the partnership to look like? Who are the type of people you want to work with and who you not want to work with? What do you want to charge, right? Take your time and sit down and get very clear about that. What is the problem that these ideal clients have? So what will you help them with? What problem will you solve for them? What desired outcome will you help them to achieve? And what is your signature method? So what are you really good at? What do you know you can deliver high value on? For example, in my case, I know I can deliver great value with funnels and ads, and I can help people to get more clients with that. And what is your signature method, right? What can you do really, really well, and that is valuable for people, that is valuable for the type of people you want to work with. All right, so that was my 2 cents on personal branding for beginners. I really hope it helped you. Check out the templates, and if you're a coach or course creator, then you can head over to my free Facebook group and find a lot more helpful material around growing your business and growing your ideal audience there. If this video was helpful, then give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to my channel. I would love to see you in another video.